All right, starting lesson 3.2, more parallel lines and transversal problems. All right, example 1. Angle 1 and angle 2 are alternate interior angles. Okay, alternate interior angles. If measurement angle 1 equals 2x, measurement angle 2 equals 30 plus x, find the value of x. Okay, since they told us that they are alternate interior angles, then we know what relationship. We know that they're equal to each other. So I'm going to say measurement angle 1 is equal to measurement angle 2. I know this because, once again, they're alternate interior angles. So then I could just substitute in their equivalent expressions and solve for x. Done. All right, part B, angles 6 and 7 are consecutive interior angles. If measurement angle 6 equals 3x minus 12 and measurement angle 7 equals 5x plus 32, find the measure of the smaller angle. Ooh, okay. Which one's smaller? All right, now, they're consecutive interior, so what do you know about the angles? They add up to 180 degrees. All right, a lot of students make the mistake of saying them equal to each other. All right, consecutive interior, they add up to 180. They're supplementary. All right, so I'm going to substitute in the equivalent expressions for these angles. And I have 3x minus 12 plus 5x plus 32 is equal to 180. All right, so add like terms. I have 8x. Then I have plus 20 is equal to 180. Subtract 20. 8x equals 160. Divide by 8, and x is equal to 20. All right, I haven't answered the question yet. They want the smaller angle. Now, between 6 and 7, which one would be the smaller angle? Now, you shouldn't have to think too hard. If you're multiplying x by 5 and then adding 32, that's definitely going to be greater than just multiplying x by 3 and subtracting 12. So angle 6 is going to be the smaller angle. But what is the measurement exactly? Let's figure that out. All right, so measurement angle 6 is equal to 48 degrees. Done. All right, now putting your understanding of the 4 angle pair relationships with regards to transversals and parallel lines to the test. All right, so here we have part A. What's going on here? I have these 2 parallel lines. That's why we have the arrowheads. These are parallel lines. Now here is one transversal. Okay. And there's a group of 4 angles here and a group of 4 angles here. What's the relationship between these two? All right, those are consecutive interior, so they add up to 180 degrees. All right, so we could easily solve for y now. And y is equal to 20. All right, then we have another transversal here. Okay, what's the relationship between these? They add up to 180 degrees. So I subtract 90. 2x is equal to 90. Divide by 2. X is equal to 45. Done. All right, next problem. All right, I have 2 parallel lines here. All right, and here's one transversal. Okay, and now what's the relationship between these angles here? These are corresponding angles. So x is equal to 65. Okay. Now, with these types of problems, you're really going to have to analyze the diagram and break it down piece by piece. And sometimes you can't find the answer right away. You're going to have to find other angles that they're not asking for, and then you could find the angles that they're asking for. Okay, so what's the relationship between these 2 angles? All right, those are vertical angles. So that's 55. All right, I know this is 65 here. So what is the measurement of this whole angle here? That's 180 degrees. Okay, so I have 65 plus 55 plus y, that equals 180. So I have 120 plus y equals 180. Subtract 120, and y is equal to 60. All right, now there's many different ways to solve for the variables in this type of problem. That was just one way. Okay, and once again, I have this angle here, plus this angle here, plus this angle here. All those together form a straight line, so they add up to 180. All right, let's go on to another example. All right, starting with this problem, we have two parallel lines here. Okay, and they give us this angle measurement to start with. So I know this angle and this angle are vertical angles, so that's 42. I know these two angles together form a linear pair. They're supplementary. So I'm going to subtract 42 from 180, and I get 138. Actually, I'll put the angle measures on here. And so these are vertical angles. So measure angle 3 is 138. Okay. Now, how am I going to figure out the other angles? I know 10 is going to be 90. All right, because that's a linear pair there. So 10 is 90 degrees. Okay, how am I going to figure out the other ones? All right, here, once again, is my transversal. And look at the two red parallel lines. Okay, and these angles are what? They're corresponding. So that's 42 degrees because corresponding angles are equal. And if that's 42, then this over here has to be 42 as well because they're vertical angles. Okay. And let's look back to this 90-degree angle here. This one has to be 90 degrees, right? Because these are corresponding as well, using this line as your transversal. Okay, so 8 is 90 degrees. And if this is 90 degrees, this whole thing here has to be 90 degrees. So in order to figure out measurement angle 9, I take 90 and I subtract what measurement angle 4 is, which is 42. And that gives me 48. So measuring angle 9 is 48 degrees. All right, so here I have 42. Here I have 48. Okay, that's 42. And now I have this angle here, which is 48, and I have this angle here, which is also going to be 48 because they're vertical angles. And the last one is 5. Okay, and these angles here are vertical angles. So measure angle 5 is 90 degrees. All right, you didn't have to figure out the angles in that particular order. All right, it's just a matter of understanding all the different angle relationships. We have vertical angles, we have linear pairs, we had corresponding. You could have used consecutive as well. Notice that these add up to 180. So there's a bunch of different ways to figure out these angle measurements using the tools that you have now. So there's many different ways to find the answers in this problem. All right, let's go on to another example. All right, example 4. Given P is parallel to Q. All right, P is parallel to Q. I'll put a little bold arrowhead on these two. And then it says M is parallel to N. Okay, M is parallel to N. Now it says measure angle 1 is equal to 75. That's 75 degrees. What is measurement of angle 2? All right. So let's see here. I have the Q and P are parallel. And then I have this transversal here. So these two angles here are corresponding. So that's 75 degrees. And these two angles here are vertical, so that's 75 degrees. Alrighty, and then here I have the two parallel lines. I have this transversal here. So what's the relationship between these two angles? They are consecutive interior. So they add up to 180. Alright, subtract 75. And I get measure angle 2 equals 105 degrees. So the answer is D. All right, let's do the other example. In the figure below, AB is parallel to CD. AB is parallel to CD, okay. So I have this side AB is parallel to CD. Okay. So here I have my two parallel lines. And I could call this one of the transversals. And I need to figure out X. All right. What's the relationship between these angle measurements? These are consecutive interior angles. So I add them up. And set them equal to 180. All right, the 40s cancel out. I get 2x is equal to 180. Divide by 2, x is equal to 90. Answer choice is D. All right, so all these problems really put your understanding of vertical angles, linear pairs, alternate interior, alternate exterior, consecutive interior, and corresponding angles to the test. All right, now, if you have any questions, please make sure to ask. Begin the assignment.